Welcome to the Lion's Den on the Tower. It's Lindenwood Student Radio. I'm James Z.
And I'm Emily G.
And today we're joined by the Lindenwood men's ice hockey coach, Bill Muckalt, coming off the team's big weekend against the number 9 ranked team in the country.
And before we get into the show, we'd like to give a big shout out to Jacob Horde with Lindenwood Athletics for setting this all up, and to you, Bill, for finding time in your busy schedule to make this interview work.
Well, welcome to the show. We appreciate having you on.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So, start off the show. We always have our guests introduce themselves. A lot of people on campus never get to meet the coaches. They see athletes all over the place, but never get to see the people in charge of those teams. Could you just give us a little bit about yourself so people at home know who you are?
Yeah, obviously, I grew up in Vancouver, British Columbia. Was fortunate enough to play college hockey at the University of Michigan for the legendary Red Berenson. We won 2 national championships there. Went from there to Vancouver Canucks in the National Hockey League. Played for the Islanders, Ottawa Senators, and Minnesota Wild. And after a bunch of surgeries, got into coaching and kind of been on the coaching carousel, starting at Eastern Michigan with the club team, up to the North American Hockey League in Albuquerque, over to Michigan Tech as an assistant coach, back to the USHL in Kearney, Nebraska with the Tri-City Storm. Won a championship there as a head coach and general manager, and then went back to the University of Michigan as associate head coach for 7 seasons there, and then got the opportunity to come to St. Charles and coach the Lindenwood Lions this end of April this past year.
Nice. Yeah. So what got you into hockey overall? Like, as a kid, did you just grow up and know you wanted to play hockey?
I think in Canada, growing up, it was every kid's dream to play in the National Hockey League. So for me at 4 years old, learned to play and learned to skate, and it just became such an awesome time to spend with your friends, whether it was on the ice, ball hockey, street hockey, every kind of hockey. Just growing up in Canada just was really fun, and one day that dream became a reality.
I find that really fun. Every hockey player we talk to is always like, I got on skates at 1, 2, 3, 4, and here I am, 20 years old, about to be 21, still can't skate. Tried it, can't figure it out, but you guys were getting it done, toddler years, which is fun.
I've never been allowed to.
Never been allowed? What do you mean you never been allowed to skate?
As a dancer.
Oh, yeah.
We're not allowed to. We signed like a contract at our studio. Not allowed to dye our hair. Not allowed to skate. Yeah.
Fun times. Well, I'm glad that my sport's a little bit less strict. We are allowed to have lives outside of our sport. So you also mentioned, Vancouver kid getting to play for the hometown team. What did that mean to you, and what was that like?
Yeah, it was kind of surreal. 1994, the Canucks went to the Stanley Cup Finals and lost in Game 7 to the New York Rangers. So that was a real fun ride for the province of British Columbia, and watching that and to get drafted that year by that team was kind of a cool experience for sure. But it was surreal. I certainly had a lot of people calling for tickets that I went to school with that I hadn't heard from in years. And I think kind of hits home when you're driving to the rink and there's a billboard and you look up and it happened to be a picture of you on the billboard.
That's
and your
awesome.
That was kind of surreal, to be honest. Yes.
So speaking of the NHL, you coached University of Michigan and you helped 20 players get into the NHL in your time while you were there. As someone who has gone through the draft and been drafted, how were you able to use your experiences while you were in the league to help develop these players and coach them to the NHL?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the biggest thing is being around the game for 46 years as a player, as a coach. You know the recipe for what works and what doesn't. There's no substitute for experience. So I think you have some credibility that you've been there and you played there, and then I think just coaching, you learn and you grow as time. We ask our players to get better, and we ask, if we demand that out of our players, then we should be, demanding that of ourselves. And honestly, the thing for me that comes natural is the most important reason that I coach is we're growing men and building men, but to help them get to their dream is what excites me and about the development process to help them get to the highest level. That's something that I find very rewarding and just instrumental in the daily makeup of how we go about our drill design, how we go about. It's all geared to peak performance and getting better and growth.
Yeah. And speaking of that, you had practice today before you come in here. How was practice today, and how were the boys?
Yeah, Tuesday was it's a tough day for us. You know, we generally play Friday, Saturday. Tuesday's a work day. I thought our intensity in practice was outstanding. Yeah. You know, one of our mantras this year is discipline, and we've been really, really good. We had some tough, we had some penalties on Saturday I wasn't excited about, and today we paid a price for that. And I think it's just a good message where we have to, take less penalties. If we're not preventing a scoring chance, it's we've got to get that out of our game. So, but I'm really excited about our team, their work ethic, their buy-in. Obviously, coming off a great weekend, beating the number 9 ranked team in the country, the Wisconsin Badgers, is a statement win for our program, and I couldn't be happier for our guys. They're the ones putting in the work and going out and earning it.
And as someone who has coached at a variety of levels, what has it been like to get behind the bench at the collegiate level, and what are the biggest differences you've experienced coaching at these different levels?
Well, there's certainly a lot of different experiences and teaching points and learning points. One of the biggest things, probably just specifically to this age group, is they want to learn through video, and it's kind of individual video. And a lot of the tougher conversations are usually done on one-on-one video, where the good stuff is we try to show that to the team as a group for the most part. But that's one of the things is this video, the technology of having that is something that it's a valuable tool, and it's a way for us to communicate and spend time with our players and get to know them. So I think that's something that I really enjoy as a coach, and we try to utilize to help teach them and show them.
Well, that's interesting because you've been in the game. I mean, you dated yourself a little bit earlier for over 40 years in the game. How has video evolved to help players develop over your time in hockey?
Well, I actually had the opportunity in Ottawa to play for a guy named Roger Nilsson, and they called him Captain Video. And he was the first coach that actually brought video in. And at the time, he took some flack from a lot of people. Right. And, he was so far ahead of his time. Obviously, that would have been VCR tapes and what have you, and recording it at a much different level. But he was the first coach that really used that video tool. So, and I had him towards the end of his coaching career, and Roger was a special person, a special coach, and such a positive guy. But I think it's funny now that we're evolving it, and now it's analytics that are the buzzword.
Yeah.
But I know one thing that still doesn't pass the test, and that's analytics, because you can see it, and the video doesn't lie either.
They were. I was listening to 101 ESPN earlier, and they were kind of joking around about that. They were talking about one of the Blues lines and their expected goals in the year, and we're kind of dogging on them. And one of the other hosts on the show said, "Yeah, but how many goals do they actually have? Because they've been one of our best producing lines. So you have the analytics, you also have the eye test." And I like that you brought that up because I was listening to that on the radio this morning.
No question, I'll take the eye test.
Yeah.
So
and then if I don't like it, I'll back it up with analytics.
There you go. Like that. So, what was it like coming back to coach at Michigan after playing your college hockey there and finding a bunch of success there?
For sure. Special to, go back to your alma mater. I think that would be no matter where you were at. But it was really rewarding, to have recruit 4 of the first 5 players in the National Hockey League draft a few seasons ago, to have 5 first-rounders. It was really special. Probably going through COVID and all that with some difficulties, as did everyone, through that time and challenges. But, going to a bunch of Frozen Fours, and ultimately just, a goal here in overtime or a bounce. We just ultimately didn't quite get back to winning a national championship. So fell a little bit short there, but as far as the development and helping a lot of guys move on in hockey and outside of hockey is certainly very rewarding and a special time for me.
Yeah. And what were like the biggest changes from, you playing there to coaching there at Michigan?
I think just the growth of the nutrition and the food and even, just a part of the training and obviously the video and different things like that. But, a lot of similarities still. And as much as the game changes, there's still some fundamentals that will remain to its core, I think, for forever.
Yeah. And speaking of the University of Michigan, you helped coach them to a Big Ten championship with a win over Minnesota. What was that experience like?
Well, for sure. Anytime you can win your conference, either in the regular season or in the playoffs, it's a big moment. Obviously, to get in those situations, winner take all. Somebody goes home unhappy, and somebody, you get that champion that nobody can take away. So when you can raise a banner and get a ring, there's a fine line. I've been on both sides of it, winning and losing championships. But there's no do-overs. It's not Nintendo or Sega or whatever gaming system you have where you hit reset. It's etched in the record books.
So you mentioned a little bit ago about the nutrition side of things, how that's evolved. And I feel like a lot of people don't get to see with hockey how that, especially hockey, because hockey doesn't get a lot of coverage, especially behind the scenes. The nutrition side of it, players burn so many calories on the ice, then they got to go back and eat the right things to get ready. Could you give us an insight into like meal prep and stuff for hockey? Because I always thought that was interesting. I never got the chance to ask anyone about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys, like for pregame meals, for instance, it'll either be pasta and chicken or chicken and rice, kind of like that. But I think the big thing is just the recovery products that are out there now, nutritional shakes, protein powder, all the different things that are in that you can order. But I think we know more about nutrition now. The days of eating a hot dog and fries and a Coke at the concession stand are probably over. We just know a lot more about nutrition and eating healthier pre-game, post-game, and what have you. So I think that part has changed a lot. And from there, even the working out, the strength and conditioning programs. And, at one time it was just lift and get as heavy a weight and as much as you can. And now you're talking about elasticity and flexibility and long, full body movements and different ways to train that are sport specific.
Yeah. And in your last year with Michigan, I know I'm bouncing around here. I went back to nutrition. Now we go back to Michigan. Your last year there, you guys went Frozen Four, went all the way to the championship. And that was your last year behind the bench before coming to Lindenwood. You had all that success while you were at Michigan. How do you start building that winning culture here at Lindenwood and get this off the ground?
For sure. You said the word culture. That's where it starts. And you got to cultivate, you got to grow. And it starts, at the basic farming level. You start with the seed and you put it in the ground, and you need good soil. You need fertilizer, you need sunshine. And you need to take care of it and grow it, right? And then it's got to take roots. That's what we're trying to establish with our culture and our growth. And, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in hours or seconds or minutes. It takes time. And then, at some point you start to have roots and you start to have fruit if depending on it. And, you can't eat that fruit too early. It'll be sour. It doesn't taste very good. It's got to ripen and it's got to age. And, that's kind of what we're doing here is building a program. We're getting better. There's a lot that goes into it, whether it's recruiting, whether it's coaching, whether it's coming together, belief in each other, and a work ethic that's earned. And you have to perform at a high level out there to achieve success.
Emily and I were both from Illinois. Most of our viewers are from the Midwest. We appreciate the farming references.
Yes.
We love that.
Yes. Someone from Central Illinois.
Yep. I got a cornfield next to my house. I mean,
Same.
like it's
I got a corn and bean field
it's
right
big
next
over
to my
here.
house. Yeah. So far, what has been your impression of our program and building that up?
Are we talking hockey specifically, or are we talking the university in
It
general?
can be whatever you think.
Okay. I really think campus is beautiful. Like when I came here for the first time, I didn't know much about Lindenwood. I think the campus is beautiful. Just a great spot. Love the St. Charles community. Love the Italian food on the hill and Napoli and Charlie Gito's and Paul Mano's. I'm probably leaving some of them out, but the food is just amazing. People are great. Love St. Louis. But I really like our university, and obviously, being a new Division I program is to grow and to build, this program into a nationally ranked competitive program, is the ultimate goal.
And you have quite the experience in that under your belt in taking a team over. However, do you feel like it'll help as we are entering our third year from ACHA to NCAA?
Yeah, it takes time. I think the program did a real nice job getting to this level and to this point to take a program. It's a considerable jump from Division I club to NCAA Division I. So there's a lot that goes into that, but that's the goal is to continue to grow and get better.
And then going into this year, first year with a new team, what were your kind of goals as you were taking over the program this year?
Honestly, to get better every day. I know as you guys probably are saying, oh, coach, it's all about wins and losses, but the longer I've coached, it's just about the process that goes into it, that we have a plan, we got to go out and execute it, and we need to be prepared. And then, we need to really, after you go into battle and you have a game, is to recap that and review what you did well, what you didn't do well. Every day in practice, we film practice, so it's a great tool to show players, and they now know that it's being watched and they're being rated in their performance, and there's a purpose to every drill. That it's important, and it's good to reinforce that through video to show players. So we put a premium on it. And the small area games, we're big on a lot of games, so that rises the level of competition, and that competition and intensity it shows up on Friday and Saturday night.
I really have appreciated, I'm not the best athlete in the world. We've established this. I'm a bowler in college. But I've always appreciated the coaches that will sit down and take the time to work with the team no matter what, whether they're winning or losing. They don't look at the record and they say, this is what we need to do to get better. This is what we're struggling with. And I really appreciate that mindset. So, and I think we can all appreciate that. I mean, just the one-on-one stuff, I'm streaming with Dance too. When someone sits down with you, works on what you need to work on, it makes a lot of a difference. And also shout out Phil Vida for coaching me one-on-one for 2 hours yesterday at bowling practice, fighting me the whole time, but I saw progress. So I was happy. So shout out Phil if you're listening at home.
Yes. Definitely. Like one-on-one is definitely good. And seeing what you're doing at practice helps. I know we record almost every single time we do a dance, and just seeing that improvement each week helps.
Awesome.
Yeah. So you have a lot of big team matchups this season. Which ones would you say you're looking forward to the most?
The one right now, I think, is November 15th and 16th at Centene Ice Center. We play Ohio State. The Buckeyes will be in town. So excellent opportunity for students, fans, people to get out to Centene Ice Arena in Maryland Heights to watch those games. I think they'll be really impressed with the quality of the game, and they'll go once. They're going to be hooked. Hockey's a great game, and college hockey's is just a great.
Yeah.
No, so you're a Michigan guy playing against Ohio State. Any animosity there at all?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
It's a big rivalry, so there's no question.
Yeah. As someone who's going to be at all the hockey games because my dance team is the one up there dancing and cheering and all that, I'm excited for this one. I'm really excited.
And I'm really hoping, like you said, you got to be there. Like the last few years, we've had the raucous home crowds in the home opener, and maybe a little bit too raucous at times. But hey, I know the guys on the ice appreciate it, and I know we've always managed to get a reaction out of the other team, and it's been a good time. It's been loud. It's been fun. Every game I've gone to, even if it's a win or a loss, which I really don't care. At the end of the day, those games were so much fun to go to. So if you've never been to one, you got to show up, be at those games. You're not going to regret it.
No, they're the best. I look forward to hockey season every year.
It's the best time of the year.
It is. The Lions were able to get on board first with a power play goal from Jaden Mercier. How important to the game was it to establish that goal and to get on the board first?
Yeah, no question. Anytime you can score first on the road, it'll keep the crowd out of it, and it's good to play ahead and with the lead rather than have to chase it from behind.
Yep. Yeah. And you guys were able to score that first goal of the season on the power play. What's it been like working with this power play, and what's it like when you can establish that in a game?
Yeah, no question. To get a power play goal early, it was a good play by Johnny Evans running downhill on the flank, and he found Jaden in the bumper and quick release and over the goalie's glove. So a real good start. Special teams, as you know, are such a big part of the game. And at the end of the day, you got to win the special teams game to usually win the hockey game. It's certainly a big factor.
Yeah. And then Mercier would then go on to score the second goal of the game, putting Lions up 2-1 after the first period. How were you and the team feeling heading back into that locker room after scoring 2 goals in that first period?
Yeah, obviously to get out to the lead, a big goal on the turnover and on the forward check and another good shot by Jaden. But obviously there's still 2 periods left in a lot of hockey, so just sticking with the game plan, sticking with the process.
And then another player who had a big game, Owen Bartoskevich, screwed it up second time, had 34 stops in the game. What's he been like to coach as a player, and what has allowed him to be so successful to start the season?
Yeah, Bart's been good for us. Big goaltender, a lot of ice, covers a lot of net. So I think he really has confidence right now. He's seeing the puck well in practice, and he's in a good spot. But having him back there, making quality saves and giving us a chance to win each night, gives our team a lot of confidence. The players in front of them.
The Lions would finish out the weekend with a 3-2 overtime thriller. Coach, what was it like having a quick turnaround from Game 1 to Game 2?
Yeah, I mean, for us, obviously a statement win Friday, but really important to bounce back and have a good showing on Saturday. I thought our guys responded. We got out to a 2-0 lead, ultimately losing 3-2 in overtime with about 17 seconds left. Probably just ran into a little bit of penalty trouble there on Saturday and took a lot of energy to kill those penalties off. And you're just not going to win many games when you take 8 penalties and you're in the box and kind of end up in that type of situation. So good teaching moment, good learning moment for our group to move forward, that we have to be more disciplined.
And Bartoskevich had another great game in Game 2, stopping 42 of 45. Was there any question coming into Game 2 who was going to get the start in net?
Not for me. It's pretty good. I mean, it's like if you have a hot horse or a hot goalie, you ride it until it bucks you off. So I have a lot of confidence in our other 2 goaltenders. But, I thought, he wanted back in there. So, I pretty easy decision for me.
Nice.
And then, like we said, it gets loud when you're at home at Centene. So I would assume it gets loud when you're away at Wisconsin against you. Scoring first in both games, how important is it to get that early lead and then make sure that the crowd stays
you don't want to
quiet?
You don't want to be playing against 7,000 or 8,000 crazy fans that are all wearing red. So the longer you keep them off the scoreboard and keep the crowd out of it, I think is a great way to go about things. Obviously, you're not always able to do that, but scoring first is a good recipe for sure.
Yeah.
And I know I've been talking about how well Owen's been doing in that, but the defense in front of him has also done a really good job with the goal prevention so far. What have you liked from them, and what do you want to see moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, we want to take away time and space. We want to be aggressive and assertive from a defensive standpoint, and create a change of possession, kill plays, so that we can go on offense. And that's a big area of focus. I think we've got a lot of guys on the back end that are playing really well. Artie Borshev scored a big goal for us, but he's a rock solid player and leader for us. Jack Anderson, Joe Prouty, been really good. Aiden Yakimchuk's been terrific. We had a couple young freshmen and Brady Yakish and Sean Ramsey, Thomas Jarman. So the whole group has done a real nice job. Brody Mortenson's been good as well. So, they're the backbone, for helping our team defend, and the better we can defend means we'll have the puck and go on offense. So it's a good recipe. It's a good pitcher for us.
And I think our boss will appreciate this. You mentioned Aiden Yakimchuk. Subscribe to the YouTube channel where the podcasts are at. This will be on YouTube as well on the
Roar Network.
The Roar Network YouTube channel. We had an interview with Aiden the other day for our sports show. So if you want to tune into that, it'll be on there later this week. Shameless plug. Got to throw it in there. We're trying to grow the Roar Network. Yeah.
Trying to grow the communications department, make a brand here.
Yeah, I think we've done a good job so far.
Yeah. In the second period of that game, we again would score early with a goal from David Gannon to keep the Lions up. However, the Badgers would score with only 34 seconds left in the game to force it into overtime. What was the vibe heading into that, and how do you prepare your guys for this overtime?
Yeah, I mean, for us, you're in a one-goal hockey game, and still have a great chance of winning the hockey game. I just reminded the guys, hey, would you take this, going into the weekend, if we were going to have a win and a chance to win, this overtime or this shootout, would you take it? And so trying to just kind of reset into a positive mindset. And we certainly had some good chances in overtime. I think, we had a breakaway and a 2-on-1. We could have ended the game. Got a kind of lucky bounce maybe, or off the boards weird, and Bart kind of got turned around a little bit, but really proud of our effort, and no question, if we can play consistently like that, we're gonna have a lot of success.
Like you said, you guys generated some good chances in overtime. How much before the season do you guys get to work on your 3-on-3 play?
We've worked on it a little bit. I wouldn't say we've had a lot of time to really work on that. We play a lot of small area games, and I think that bodes well for 3-on-3. There's a lot of ice out there. But, I thought we played well. There was, we were killing a penalty once again, so the first 2 minutes of that overtime were 4-on-4, so it wasn't even 3-on-3 for that. But, it's an exciting brand. I mean, the 3-on-3 is like the NHL has done. It's created an entertaining aspect for the fans. There's no question. There's more chances and easier to create 2-on-1s and 3-on-3 versus 5v5.
Yeah. Overall, this weekend was a good confidence booster as the season continues and opponents get tougher. What are you proud of that the team accomplished and executed this weekend?
Yeah, probably a lot of things with the game plan, and the belief in themselves and each other, but to our structure and our system and some of the points that we value. Those are all from style of play, some of the different stuff. It's validation for what's putting the work in practice, and it shows up during the game.
So before we move into the looking ahead segment, we brought up overtime, and I know this is something that a lot of NHL pundits have talked about, especially in hockey media, with the 3-on-3, where a lot of people drop it back, skate out of the zone, waste time. What have you heard any of the opinions on that? And if so, what do you think of 3-on-3 overtime, and people the players taking it back out of the zone and wasting time? to set things up?
I mean, what you're trying to do a lot of times, and the philosophy behind it, is to change get two fresh guys on the ice and catch them tired where they might be at a disadvantage, and you know, it's a cat and mouse game, and if the other team tries to change, you're going to give up an outnumbered situation. So that's the philosophy behind it. You're trying to do that and bring them up and create a bad gap, or try and create speed and attack, because a team's going to basically back right in on top of the goalie. It's hard to create anything, so you bring them back out and try and create a separation or a gap, or attack with some speed.
And we're going to continue on looking ahead. The Lions will continue their season this weekend as they take on Air Force in Colorado on Friday and Sunday. The Lions have a history with Air Force, as they are currently all tied up at 2-2 dating back to 2022. Coach, what do you plan for when you go into a game like this, knowing that this is a different team, everything's different? Do you just go in with a completely new outlook on games from Wisconsin to this one?
Yeah, just from a pre-scout aspect, we'll break down the film. Mark Abney, our director of hockey operations, and we'll sit down and we'll meet, and everything from their forward check to their neutral zone system to their D zone coverage, which is man on man, and try and just put in a plan and our drill design for the week in practice to work on things we need to do that'll give us a chance to have success on the weekend. So, just depending on what we find on the film and what we want to try and expose, or how we think we can have success, we'll make some tweaks.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an interesting series because you guys have your first game on Friday and you have an off day, then a game on Sunday. Does that change anything for resting players, and how different is that from the normal back-to-back for you guys?
Yeah, it's a little different for sure. But we play Friday night. Plan is on Saturday to go watch a football game. So that should be a unique, exciting experience for our guys. Watch some of the football, and then we'll get back at it on Sunday afternoon, and then get home late Sunday night.
Do you know? Is you guys going to the Air Force game?
Yes.
All right. I mean, they're kind of getting dogged on this year. Army and Navy have really stepped it up. Both ranked in the AP poll, first time since 1960. So Air Force guys step it up. Hopefully they bring home a winner for you guys. Yeah. Unless you guys don't want them to win, I'm not sure your college football.
I like college football. For me, my focus is elsewhere this weekend.
Of course.
I hear a lot about the Army because my uncle is a West Point recruit, so he is very like, did you hear about this? Did you see this? Yeah. And I'm like, I go to Lindenwood.
One of my bowling team captains actually, West Point right now. Nice. Went to Japan, met the love of his life out of the Army. So he's getting married next year. So shout out Jackson Budwell and go Army.
Yeah. And then looking ahead in the schedule, your team plays some tough opponents. What are you looking for from your team, and in what ways do you prepare them to take on these tougher teams?
Well, obviously, for us, it's competing and at our best, at our highest level every day, in and out, regardless of who we're playing. But, we want to limit our mistakes. We want to play a clean game. So we want to manage the puck. We want to play well defensively, where we take away time and space, and then offensively get into our O-zone structure and play fast and play well in transition and take advantage of that and, obviously create offensive chances and score goals ultimately. So that's kind of our recipe.
And back to the Michigan stuff. I know touched on it a lot. Seems like I'm the one who got all the Michigan questions this time. But you guys are playing against some Big Ten schools this year. What are those wins, especially against Wisconsin? Someone who played Big Ten hockey. What do those wins feel like for you when you beat those teams that you used to play against?
Yeah, I mean, those are big games, big environments, and every win, I think helps from a recruiting standpoint. It helps build your brand and gives people, hopefully a chance to want to come out and support us and a chance to come check us out.
Yeah. All right, that's enough with our game questions and our to-the-point questions. Now we'll get into our fun section of the show. we have some trivia. We're going to test your knowledge of not only the sport, but also a little bit of St. Charles. Last week, we had our first perfect score from the men's soccer coach. So let's see if you can do the same.
You
went 5 for 5.
You got them all correct. So you got big shoes to fill here. But I think you got this. I think you're going to do good on this.
You got it.
Am I allowed to use Google? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, Siri.
Hey, Siri.
Yes. All right, your first question is how many Lindenwood players have signed professional contracts in the ECHL? A, 7, B, 2, C, 5.
Thank you, Siri.
Thank you, Siri.
C, 5, or D, 1.
That have signed in the East Coast League.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 7.
All right.
Was that what
We'll go back through. That was question 1.
So that's A. So just
Yeah.
circle A on that one.
Okay.
We'll go back to them at the
through
end.
them. We'll go back.
All right. So what year was Lindenwood Hockey founded? Is it A, 2000, B, 2005, C, 2010, or D, 2004?
I'm going to go 2000.
2000.
Okay.
Which one was that?
That was A.
Okay.
All right. What was the first college hockey team? A, Michigan, B, Yale, C, Minnesota, D, University of St. Thomas.
First ever collegiate hockey team.
I'm going to try. I mean, Minnesota seems obvious, but Yale sounds pretty good. Yeah. I'm going to try Yale.
All right.
All right.
That would be
That's
B.
B.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. All right.
All right.
ABC.
We're going to step away from hockey for a second because now you're in
St. Charles.
You're in St.
Yeah.
Chuck. So you have to, we'll give you some Missouri questions here. First of all, I want to know, how familiar are you with the state? And have you ever, I'm assuming you have played against the Blues before.
I have.
Yeah, so you've been around here a little bit. So what was the state of Missouri, first capital city?
St. Chuck.
St. Chuck. He doesn't even need.
He doesn't
he's
even
extra
need
points. If he gets that right,
that's
that should
an
be a
extra
bonus
point right there.
Next week we're gonna bring a coach in there and be like, he got 6 out of 5
Yeah.
correct. All right.
So that would be D if you were.
Okay.
All right. This last question. What was the name of St. Louis's first NHL franchise? A, Eagles, B, Blues, C, Lions, or D, Mavericks?
I'm going with B, Blues.
All right.
Wasn't it 1967? I think Scotty Bowman came and coached, and legendary coach I had, Red Berenson, played for him. So I'm pretty confident in that. The one that gives me a little bit of a trickery is the Yale one, but it could be Minnesota. But I feel confident about my other ones. But
Oh,
All right.
okay.
Well, I'm
okay.
gonna take your paper really fast. You're taking a test. When was the last time you took a test?
I don't know. That's a good question. Like we have some compliance stuff and different stuff. We have some tests there for.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you want to go over these?
I would
You are the
love to.
hockey head
I
here.
would love to. All right. So, how many Lindenwood players have signed professional contracts in the ECHL? You answered 7. The answer was 5. It's Andy Willis, Ryan Finnegan, Kyle Jeffers, Kabore Dunn, and Brendan Rons.
But you had faith in the program, which
You
I
did.
appreciate.
I love it. I feel like there's more, but the internet told me 5. So, that's okay. When was Lindenwood Hockey founded? You chose A, 2000. The answer was D, 2004.
The year I was born.
Okay.
Good.
It's
That was a good
after
year
I
for
was
me.
born.
Good year for me.
Next question was, what was the first college hockey team? You chose B, Yale, and that one was correct.
All right.
He's on the board.
Yeah. What was Missouri's first capital? Right out of the gate, St. Charles.
That's 2 points.
That's 2 points right
St.
there.
Chuck, so
St.
that's-
Chuck, yeah.
Chuck.
Maybe we can get one for saying Chuck and knowing that it's not Charles.
Yeah.
No,
I
love that.
I love saying St. Chuck.
that
It's
is
just-
impressive. I
it's
know I
just
kind of
better.
led up to it, but just nope. You didn't want the options.
Didn't need the
Went straight
options.
with straight
Yeah.
with St. Chuck.
All right. This one I didn't even know. So, what was the name of St. Louis's first NHL franchise? You said B, Blues. I would have gone with Blues as well, but It was A, Eagles.
The St. Louis Eagles.
They played one season
Yep.
in 1934.
The Ottawa Senators franchise was having some money problems, and they moved to St. Louis. And then they played one season in St. Louis and said, we're still losing money. NHL, please let us shut down the franchise. And they said, nope, we're buying the franchise back, selling off your players, and get out of here.
I'm a pretty good at hockey historian, and I did not know that. I thought the first time when the Blues came to town, so I wasn't around in 34.
Oh.
I
feel like most
not
people
know
around
that.
here wouldn't know that either. I read a book when I was a kid.
I feel like you bleed blue through and through.
They were
when you're
red
around
too,
here.
which is weird. I don't
You
like
guys
that.
beat up on me. Tough. I hope those questions are a little bit harder.
Those ones were definitely a little bit harder.
We had to step it up.
Yeah. Those ones I went digging for.
Now, the first week we did this, we asked a bunch of most of our other NCAA sports are in the OVC. So we
Yes.
asked a bunch of OVC questions. This had a lot of big numbers or like Lindenwood athletic stuff that they wouldn't have known. So they were also just straight up guessing. So we
Yeah.
were like, okay, let's get it more sports centered for the next few weeks. And I think you nailed it. So thank you,
You
Coach.
did. Killed
Thank
it.
you for playing.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
once again, thank you for coming on the show. If you guys want to make it to their next game, well, you're going to have to buy a plane. But it'll be in Colorado taking on Air Force. And then they'll be back at Centene November 15th, where they'll take on Ohio State University. So once again, thank you, Bill, for giving us a part of your evening. And thank you to Lindenwood Athletics for making this all possible. This has been the Lions Den on KCLC HD3.